All right, we can take higher and higher derivatives. So this question says take 4 derivatives of sine. Okay, so y prime, the first derivative, we know the derivative of sine is cosine of x. The second derivative would be derivative of cosine. We know that's negative sine. The third derivative of negative sine, this negative will come along for the ride, times the derivative of sine, that's negative cosine. And then the fourth derivative, so that's how once we get past triple prime, we don't write like if I wanted the seventh derivative, I'm not going to write out 7 little slash marks. It gets too confusing. Once you get past 3, we put it in parentheses. This means the fourth derivative. That is not this. This would mean y to the fourth power. These little parentheses mean repeated derivatives. The derivative of this guy would be negative. That negative came along for the ride. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. Oh, and the negatives cancel. We just get back to sine. So the fourth derivative of sine is again sine, and it just keeps cycling. Okay, and we'll do the same thing here for cosine. You'll see we get the same kind of behavior. Only now we're going to write it using Leibniz notation instead of prime notation, just so you get used to it. So the first derivative with respect to x is negative sine of x. The second derivative, so I know that looks like I've written x squared. I haven't. This is just a fancy way of saying take 2 derivatives of y, and x is your independent variable both times. The derivative of sine is cosine, and this negative comes along for the ride. The third derivative, this is just fancy notation, means the same kind of thing as this. It's triple prime. It's the third derivative. The derivative of cosine is negative sine times this other negative that already exists. So we're to positive sine. And then the fourth derivative of regular old sine is regular cosine. So when we take 4 derivatives of cosine, we get right back to regular cosine.